Hey everyone, welcome back to AndyDemos. You just heard the Rise and Shine Octave Up Fuzz from Stone Deaf Effects, and this is a very special one because it's their triumphant return to digitally controlled analog, and doing it with an Octave Fuzz is really interesting, especially how they're switching the octave up. So let's take a closer look. Stone Deaf have really gone above and beyond with the manufacturing process for the Rise and Shine, which has been a labor of love for over 3 years. The core fuzz tone is very dynamic and responsive to guitar volume cleanup, and the gain ranges from light distortion to full-blown fuzz. There's even 2 polar opposite voicings to get you started, indicated by the orange and blue LEDs. Plus, a clean blend lets you mix the dry signal back in for meaty bass guitar sounds or increased note definition in high gain settings. And the tone control lets you fine-tune either a low or high-pass filter to match perfectly with your rig. Stone Deaf takes full advantage of the digital control when it comes to switching the octave up in and out. Along with momentary switching of the octave up, they've created a new rhythmic feature called Octapulse. This octave up tremolo vibrato effect comes complete with tap tempo and subdivisions, and even lets you create your own custom tapped patterns to weave into your riffs. The enclosure is precision engineered with the tightest tolerances, and it sports machined aluminum knobs, laser engraving, and custom switches for the optical relay true bypass, which are good for 1 million stomps. And it's all tucked in an elegant package. For more info on this one-of-a-kind octave up fuzz, check out Stone Deaf Effects. Let's try some humbuckers and see how this fuzz and octave up fuzz gets along. And I have 2 voices to play with here and a very powerful tone control, which is low and high pass. So between all these settings, I'm going to find a match that's just going to gel well with this guitar. So I haven't even touched that tone control, and you could tell that there's some really polar opposite voicings here. You get sort of a muffier fuzz sound with a lot more brightness in this mode, or just something with a smoother mid-range. I kind of like the blue mode with this amplifier, but I think I'm going to add a little bit more high-end detail. So let's go check that mode out. So when I did switch on that octave up, it was the more muted tone, so it didn't get really brash on the top end, even with that tone control. So in this configuration, playing into a deluxe reverb, I probably want to stay on this blue mode, but it's going to be different for your amp and your setup. All right, now I've got the Rise and Shine on the floor, and that's not only to show you my indoor footwear, but just to show you some of these momentary modes. In the green mode, the octave is actually momentary, so you could have a riff where you just kind of want to blast into octave up in certain parts. It's a lot quicker than stepping on the octave on and off. So I'll give you a taste of that, and we'll try the other momentary mode, which is actually making the fuzz itself momentary. almost like an expression pedal having that octave up setting on a momentary switch. I really didn't know where that one was going to go. It was just kind of a fun way to just discover the octave up in a whole new way. Now let's check out the other momentary mode, the blue LED. And this one, the whole effect, whether it's just the fuzz or the octave up fuzz, can just be a momentary option if you hold down the bypass switch. And for someone who's not really into that kind of tap dancing, here's where the Octapulse really comes in handy, and you could just set this to your favorite tempo and even tap in your favorite rhythms. So let's try a few of those settings. And so there's this pulsing that goes on, and you could actually engage a noise gate if that's something that you don't want to hear. It's just easily accessed by holding down the bypass switch for 3 seconds. And it just fades away. So if you don't want to hear that pulsing, say you're not playing something, that noise gate is really helpful, and it doesn't really get in the way of your playing. Like I mentioned before, the Octapulse has tap subdivisions, and you can really just lock into whatever you're playing. Let's just tap in a faster rhythm with the voice switch. A little bit more clean blend, and you start to hear the Octapulse really change form. It really kind of strays into that vibrato territory, and it really changes the shape too when you increase the fuzz. And the last mode you'll want to spend a lot of time with, and that's the custom rhythm or the white LED mode. To record your own unique pattern, just hold down the mode switch until it turns red. And instead of tapping the tempo, you can plug in an expression pedal and just really interweave that octopulse into your riffs and give you some new ideas as well. Here I'm just using it more of like a subtle vibrato effect, so I'm using a lot of clean blend, and I've backed off on the fuzz quite a bit, so it just kind of works in the background. You don't really have to be married to the speed you're playing. It's just kind of a nice subtle effect. There you have it, the Stone Deaf Effects Rise and Shine Octave Up Fuzz. And you could just tell they've put a lot of thought into this with all that digital control. And of course, it's still an analog signal path, so that's just good news for Octave and Fuzz. You could check it out at stonedeafeffects.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next Andy Demo.